Bada bing bada.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my god, I missed you.
Do we know how to do this?
I apparently not after the 6 sound checks we just went through.
6 times a charm.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need
That's
for me to
always
figure
what
out
they say.
my mic is off.
We
Queen
kept
would not
having-
be pleased.
Mm-mm. Well, she would have had you restart it, and I will say that would not have fixed the problem.
It wouldn't have. No.
Mm-mm.
No. And then she would have told me to restart it again, which still wouldn't have solved
True.
the problem. So it's been 8 years since we did this.
Amber's screen name today is I'm sorry.
just got to get in there. Gotta get into these segments. I'm gonna be able to do this with a straight face today.
It's like the first time again.
It is. We've never done this before.
Podcasting is not like riding a bicycle.
No. And I told you this the other day that when we record, I go through this weird thing where I feel like we're live in front of people just because we're recording, but like nobody else is here yet. They'll be here in a few days.
Okay.
You know?
If they come at all, I mean, they may have abandoned us at this point.
I did get a personal complaint from my sister-in-law. She was like, "Where's my episode?" And I was like, "It was a hurricane. I don't know."
I just got power back a day ago. So Amber this week is still podcasters ? And I can really relate to that. Honestly, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
I think
That's where we're at.
We may soon figure that out. It's off to a rocky start.
You let us know, listeners. Tori today is, I hate you for this, unambiguous umbrella. I did it.
Yay.
Woo! Because this is a pronunciation podcast, as we all know. Unambiguous umbrella. There's a lot of and amb in there. So
you did a great job with it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Unambiguous. Thanks. You don't hear that all the time.
No, I had to Google it.
Oh, good.
Like what it meant. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you give us a little? It's not the word of the week.
Should it be?
It could be.
Let me re-Google it because I'll fuck it up.
That's on brand.
Unambiguous. Not open to more than one interpretation. So this umbrella does not want to be called anything but the umbrella that it is.
Does it want to be called unambiguous then?
Yes. It's self-explanatory, yeah.
Okay. Well, unambiguous it is. I did it like 5 times without fucking it up.
You're doing really good. We might actually have to become a pronunciation podcast now.
No, don't put that out there. Don't put that out there.
Okay,
we don't need those vibes in the water.
Queen starts marketing for us.
You can't start another podcast.
I cannot. And let me tell you what's going on this week. For me, part of it is that I can't do anything right this week. And a lot of that is just like getting back into the normal swing of things after the hurricane. But like my brain isn't there, but my body has to be.
Feel that.
So podcasts, I'm in 2 of them. There's this one and there's one other. We were supposed to have an episode come out Wednesday. I started editing it Sunday. I only had a little bit left. I forgot until about an hour ago. It's now Thursday.
It's something, I mean, we were just talking about this yesterday. It's the moon or the sun or whatever that big thing in the sky was. I think that's to blame.
I wish we had that in text.
I am pretty sure it was the moon that I was. No, was I talking about the sun?
You said you were talking about the sun. I was talking about the moon.
And then today, I think I realized, like, no, that's the moon. You dumb bitch. So, like, I think you're right. I think I was talking about the sun. And then I was like, no, that is the moon.
You didn't have a Florida education, did you?
No, I had a Virginia education, but I don't.
Well, same thing, I feel education. Yeah, same thing, I feel like. Same idea.
Yeah.
So I 100% forgot to put the episode out, and Sam was so sweet. I just like reached out to her and I was like, Sam, I forgot to put the episode out. And she said, yeah, I know you've like had a lot going on this week. And she was like, I did check to see if it was there and I noticed it wasn't. And
Oh,
I figured you'd do it when you can get to it. I'm like, oh my gosh.
that's so nice.
I know. So
That's
one more thing to
amazing.
do tonight.
This was Tori's first big hurricane as a homeowner, and
Mm-hmm.
that's freaking crappy.
It's my
not
first
fun.
big hurricane ever.
Oh,
Like
really?
it's it's not the first one I've been near. Like usually we get like the outer bands and stuff, but I've never had one come over my house like this.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Except like,
Jeez.
well, Ian did. But
Yeah.
it wasn't that strong. I think it was just a lot of rain.
Yeah.
At least by the time it got to where every time it's like actually come over my house, it's been like a lower category,
Gotcha.
if that makes sense. So like this is the first like one in my entire life of living in Florida that I was actually like nervous about.
Yeah. And I will say she was prepped up. I was thoroughly impressed anytime I got an update. Just like there was nothing left to chance.
There was nothing. We had like 9 tubbies of water, like 3 of them drinking
Yes.
water.
So many. I'm like, that is honestly immaculate. Bathtub
There's
full.
still 2 tubbies of water out in my kitchen. We
That's-
need to.
That's fair. No, they can stay there. It's fine.
We're working on it.
The watering hole.
So that is why we missed our last episode. Just
Yeah. So,
So everyone
please don't
knows.
desert us.
we haven't abandoned you guys.
We just had a hurricane. That's all. But it's
couple.
all good. Yes, several. Some tornadoes. No big deal.
Oh my god, the tornadoes were really scary. That was freaking me out too because they were kind of close to you,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to like say it to you without like freaking you out. But
The
it's kind of hard
tornadoes
to do
don't
that.
freak me out as much for some reason, but I think it's because I grew up like prepping for storms. It's not as common in Virginia because of the mountains, but there are tornadoes there too. So I don't know why that doesn't freak me out as much, but it probably should, but it doesn't.
That's like
but
the
I just
scariest
thought you were
one.
so cute because you were just like, I don't know if you know this.
And like not to freak you out, but
Yeah.
they are close.
We had our bunker ready to go, but
Good.
honestly, the wind was the scariest thing. Just like hearing it, and my boys slept in the same room with me, and we just kept getting woken up anytime it would get super loud out there. And it's like I really just was so concerned about what everything was going to look like, and then the only thing that really happened to us is we just lost power for a minute.
Ever. For about, what, 5 days or so? 4?
Yeah, so it went out Wednesday night, and we got it back Sunday night. 4 days, yeah.
Okay.
So that sucked, but like there wasn't any damage, no major damage. We lost a couple plants, but that's about it.
Yeah, this is a wild one. I did take a little bit of damage to one of the houses that I've been staying in. Had a tree it went through the roof. There's a few holes in the roof, but it definitely could have been worse. Like the tree mostly fell in the front yard, and it could have fallen onto the actual house a lot more than it did. I will say though, and this isn't for you because you didn't do this, but just kind of a PSA, when someone has a tree fall on their house, first response to them probably shouldn't be, well, it could have been worse.
Oh my God.
Because so many people were saying that to me, and were they right? Yes, I do agree. Now I've come out of my pissiness, and I do agree. But it's just not really what you want to hear. I mean, yeah, it could have been worse, but it is pretty bad. It wasn't
That's
a little baby
pretty
tree.
Serious. Yeah,
like we need a new
saw the
roof. We
pictures of
need
this,
mold treatment.
it was a little jarring to see the photos, and my phone. Oh my gosh, the cell phone shenanigans
Oh
afterwards
yeah.
were just so frustrating.
It's still
Um,
wonky, the cell service in the area, like some areas.
yeah. Yeah, and we're all trying to freaking download this stupid iOS beta version that you have to request to get,
Yeah.
and you can only use it if you have like a 14 or higher, and it was, oh my god. I think it deleted all of my saved passwords. I can't get to them. It was like
It's a
you need to
different app. Like, did
yeah.
you find the other app and you still can't
Yeah.
get into it?
No, I can get into it. There's just nothing there.
I wonder if like they weren't backed up on the cloud or something.
Probably.
Damn.
Probably. But it's
No, I don't know what I would
yes.
do.
I know. So that's fun. I have to start the process of rebuilding my password repository, which is
Jesus.
so annoying. Um,
I have over
yeah,
400 passwords saved in my like I can't. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
yeah, tragic, tragic. That was
Mhm.
my loss. Who do I contact? How do I get that back?
Queen?
Like, can the FEMA assistance, like, does it
It should be an
cover?
option.
Okay, all
It's going
right.
to be a lot of time lost.
A lot
Mhm.
of time, a lot of gray hairs will be born.
Mhm.
So just buckle up for that.
So we're hoping hurricane season's over, and a lot of people did. Like, I did get damage in my house. I did realize, like, after being pissy about people telling me that it could have been worse, that they were right, and it definitely could have been worse. Like, I don't have to replace furniture. Like, the walls of my house are still up. Yeah, it definitely. There's a lot of people who were like, actually not even on the coast this time. So Helene like hit the coast really bad,
Yeah,
and then this time it was mostly inland flooding. Like, people were getting
yeah,
water rescued out of like middle of cities
yeah,
and just
yeah.
like low-lying areas. It was crazy. I am lucky that like, I didn't have 3 feet of water in my house.
I know, it's so scary.
I know. And again, we're thinking of everyone out there who's having to go through this. Hopefully listening to this will give you a little bit of brevity in your life. Word of the
Yeah.
day.
Wow. Wow. Word of the
Brevity.
day is ambitious. Word of the week. Like, we can't
Okay.
have a word every day.
That's true.
I simply cannot. We're just an English lit podcast.
With a specialization in pronunciation.
Oh, whoa, specialization and pronunciation. She's not playing around.
Got a nice ring to it, honestly. So we did kind of decide, Amber and I feel like we've been sometimes like forcing certain segments. We like the idea of the segments, but we just don't have content for some of them on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want to just like force content just to have it. Like, we want it to be good quality content. So we decided we're not going to do every segment every week. There are segments in certain weeks that we'll skip.
Yeah. So just try to keep up. It's just an emotional roller coaster.
There it is. Welcome.
All aboard. We got our Sabrina outfits finalized. We are ready. I just need to find the hair gems. That's the last thing.
Oh yeah, I still have some face gems
Okay, so I won't buy face gems. I'll just buy
from
the
the
hair
Eras
gems.
tour, and then I
Yeah.
have like some of the hair gel and like, or no, it was face gel, face
Yeah.
glitter gel. That's what I'm trying to say.
Tori's partner at the time looked like a disco ball. And I'll never forget walking into the movie theater and they were like, whoa, you guys are glittery. And we'd had a couple mimosas. Like, we were having a great time. And we were very glittery.
We had a really good time. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely left a trail of glitter everywhere. But yes, so we will post our outfits. We're going to both take a picture of our outfits. I'm just waiting on my choker necklace to come, and we're going to make some TikToks.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, cool. What's going on this week? Hurricanes is in both places, updates and what's going on this week. Totally valid and fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know it. Like, if you didn't live here in Florida, I feel like it's hard to understand how much this hurricane like rocked everything for a literal week. I started prepping on Sunday. We initially thought it was coming Wednesday, and then it ended up Actually, I think it did end up
It
coming
did come
Wednesday,
on
but
Wednesday, but it was like in the
supposed to be
evening.
Thursday.
Yeah. It got so spooky. Like it just like
Yes.
slowly started to get spookier through the day. Yeah. So it has been really hard this week readjusting. I
Mm-hmm.
am still catching up, and I feel like I haven't had any time between anything since Sunday when I got power back, and I was just laying in my bed in existential crises. It was great.
Thinking about all the things that need to get done, but I
Yeah,
can't get it. I
yeah,
don't know where to start.
yeah. And yeah, it's just sucked.
The whole week was shot pretty
Yeah,
much.
it was
Um,
it was gone.
it was
And the
weird.
weekend too. Like it just
And then the week before that, we had Helene too, which like was a couple weird days. We've had 2 weeks of like everything being wonked up,
yeah.
and just trying to get back in the swing of things.
Yeah, so we
And
can enjoy
it's
the
weird.
concert next week. For
Yes.
real. My husband works about an hour away, so gas is kind of essential for him
Oh
to be
my
able to get back and
gosh.
forth. And it was almost impossible to find. So there was one day where I just sent him off to the hospital, to go to work. And I'm like, hopefully you can get gas over there
Yeah.
because there's none over here. And there was. So,
Good. What else is going on this week? I can't do anything right. I already mentioned how I forgot to put an entire podcast out on one of the only 2 podcasts that I'm on.
only 2.
And what else did I just went to the store right before this. I ran to the store. Main reason was for cat litter. And I
Mm-hmm.
get there and I'm like, oh yeah, I need food too. Just start putting everything that's BOGO in my cart. Um, did not leave with cat litter. So that's not great.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
I'm so
I
mad.
always do that. There's
I'm
always
so
one
mad
thing that I forget, and it's always the thing that I like needed the
that you
most.
went for.
Yeah. God damn it, Publix, distracting me with your BOGOs.
I know.
My period is lingering. That's what's going on this week. I started
Yes,
early and it just won't go away. But honestly, at least we won't be on our period next week.
Ooh, that's a good point. That's a silver lining.
I will say, like,
Um,
that's a lot nicer than saying, like, it could be worse when there's a fucking tree on your house. Like, I don't know. Let's get some fucking perspective. I don't know how much worse it could be than that. I'm just saying. But
a little
anyway,
bit. There is a
there
little bit.
is. It's not like flooded and stuff, but still, there's a
I'm
tree
at
on your
like
house.
worst is here, and I'm like here.
Like
So-
right under there. Right under
Yeah,
there.
thank you for
Yeah.
kind of saying that out loud for the listeners since I'm just doing hand signs.
I gotcha.
What the fuck, Falcor?
It's creepy. It's really creepy.
They've turned him into a demon. So they're doing a new recreation of the NeverEnding Story.
Yeah.
And they have turned our fluffy, lovable, rideable, sweet, wise Falcor into some kind of Dementor. It's Falcor as a Dementor is what it is.
Yeah, he's cosplaying as a Dementor. Yeah.
He wants to eat your soul. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
else. Why does he look that way?
The thing is so creepy. I don't know why you would put that on any movie poster, even like a horror movie.
This is a children's movie, right? Like I am remembering this correctly.
I think they're remaking it as a horror movie. That's the impression I get.
It is spooky season.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Jesus, just destroy my childhood. Why don't you? Like,
I think I said this to you that every time I think about NeverEnding Story, I somehow mix it with Labyrinth.
oh,
With
that
David
is so
Bowie.
unfortunate.
And I don't know. I think I just must have watched them at the same time.
Yeah.
Like at my sister's for a sleepover or something. So I always get them really confused. So like honestly, David Bowie and Falcor kind of mixed in my head.
That's so unfortunate.
Together.
The Labyrinth like that movie is so creepy to me, not in an actually scary way. But I didn't watch it until I was like 23. I'd never seen it before.
Oh my
So I'm
God.
watching it for the first time, like as a 23-year-old, and I'm like, why is David Bowie being so weird with that girl?
It's so weird.
That's my only takeaway from the
That's
movie.
it. That's nobody has any other thoughts than that. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I've heard so many people talk about how much they love it, and I'm like, it is a weird movie.
No, I distinctly remember watching it as a kid and walking away like, I don't think I liked that.
So weird.
We had an impromptu FaceTime dress up before the hurricanes hit. We just started trying shit on. I wanted to put on my Sabrina Carpenter dress and
Gorgeous.
and my little silver heels, and Tori got this amazing like denim embroidered corset thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun. It was very girly and adorable and not planned. So it was just
Girlhood.
So we're going to get a season 2 of The Mormon Wives, and they're all gaslighting us on TikTok with all their constant videos. Jesus Christ is right.
Actually, that's pretty good. Yeah. But
Jesus
Jen
Christ
needs
of the
to
Latter-day
chill out.
Saints. She does. The one that really gets me is the one where she's saying like, I don't even remember where we left off. And they're like,
yes.
Oh, well, you were in a relationship. And it's just like, she makes it too much of a joke where that one point where like she stands up to kind of like, I don't know, dances around a little. So it's like, to me, that's the cue that like, it's not serious. I feel like she's got to do stuff like that in order for it to be okay for Zach. Because like, he strikes me as the type of person to be controlling.
One would say. 100,000 people probably would say.
Everyone on Earth would say.
Mm-hmm. Everyone, yeah.
I know, but he strikes me as the type of person who would like be controlling over the narrative as like of what's being put out there, and like to soften the blow to him, because he's got to know he looks like an a-hole whether he agrees with it or not. Who knows? But
maybe he ran out of gambling money and that's why he's letting her do this.
That is a great point.
Shit, that was kind of dark.
Excellent. But it's like so believable. I'm going to give you $2,500 to gamble. I'm sorry, that could pay my mortgage twice.
And at the same time, I'm going to be pissed off at you for doing your own thing in a healthy, respectable way. Remember when we were talking about like clowning again? And I said, December 13th, I think something's going to happen. And I said, it's probably not going to be Reputation, but I do feel like it might be, I said most likely debut, maybe Karma. And you got all excited and you're like, oh, let's go with Karma. And I was like, no, I'm kidding. Like, that's probably not going to happen. Well, we have actual, for the first time ever, reason to be karma clowning. Like, good reason. Like, the science and the data is backing it up.
Oh, tell me more.
Okay. Do you remember when Florence came out and did Florida, that show? We were watching all the outfits, waiting, because we're waiting for green for Reputation, or red or black. What we got a lot of was orange, which also we were excited about, but we're excited about that because Karma. And there was a lot of orange and pink and like the Barry surprise song dress that night. She's been doing lots of orange and pink in general. And the Eras Tour poster, it has 2 blocks right now that Torture Poets Department's taking up. Before, Midnight's was taking up 3 blocks.
Right.
When Torture Poets came, now the newest album is only taking up 2 blocks. So it suggests that we may have 12 before the end of the Eras Tour, which I believe is, December, the end of the Eras Tour? So it's looking like we may be getting TS12 and all the pink and orange.
I'm afraid to be excited about this.
I know. And then tomorrow, the Eras Tour starts back up. And then people are saying, too, that if you go to her Spotify, on Spotify, and you go to the clips, Reputation songs sound different. Almost like they're the new re-recorded versions in the clips. And people sound really sure about that. I feel like I can't compare them close enough to realize that they're different.
Oh my God.
And then she's been wearing a lot of snakes.
There's been so much plaid.
The plaid is interesting, I think.
I
But it's
want to
also
know.
fall.
I know.
So I'm
I
like, does it
know.
mean something or no?
I feel like it means something just because there's been so much of it, but you're right. Like, girlfriend, we already know she loves fall. Like, who the fuck doesn't?
Right.
But no, that's
I know. And
I
is that the color of TS12? Is it not even Karma? Is it something totally new? But it's plaid color? I mean, how many colors does she have left?
if it's the plaid makes me feel like it's like some kind of punk rock situation.
Because the VMA's dress was giving punk rock.
Very much. Very much.
Mm-hmm.
And that was plaid. Like there's so like that was
Oh.
so much plaid.
And then there's like all those things saying the last time she like wore that yellow colored plaid was like back during the Reputation era, which is
Reputation.
also the Karma era.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay.
Things are brewing. Things are brewing. All the snakes too. Like, what if she just drops Reputation tomorrow? No
and there's
explanation.
someone I don't remember if it was you in the Band of Clowns chat or if I just scrolled across it, but I'm pulling up her Instagram now. But I saw this video that was talking about like how not all of her pinned photos were of tortured poet stuff anymore. Oh yeah, so like the first pinned post is her talking about the book.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was some significance of that, like I don't know.
The way her grid is laid out.
Yeah.
Is it aligned?
They are.
Every time she drops an album, the grid is aligned. Yeah. So we could get something tomorrow. Sam and I are recording during it, and we're like, we got to keep the lives up like while we're recording. It's so weird because it's actually going to be like during our time now.
I can't stop scrolling. Oh my god. Okay.
Okay.
You won me over.
We've got reason to be clowning. Like the clowning
We do.
we took a little break.
Yeah.
And now we're back.
Yeah. If you go all the like her first post is like the snake.
Because it's when she came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything from before is still gone.
Mm-hmm. How do we feel about ... a shared bank account? And we're talking about couples sharing bank accounts.
Yeah. I don't know that it bothers me necessarily. I think I'm okay with it. I think it's probably because I just always have shared a bank account with my partner since we were together, like after we'd been together for like 6 months, I guess.
Oh, wow. That is a quick shared account.
But we we got pregnant pretty early on, so
right. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense.
Know. Yeah. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I'm a good judge of this one necessarily.
Well, no, I think that's a fair opinion. I don't have anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I personally have never done it just because I haven't like felt that. I don't even want to say that level of trust, but it's more so like just I've never felt the need for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I've like when I do split bills, I've usually just like Venmo'd it or something. And that just seems easier than like merging bank accounts these days, I feel like, or like closing an account. It just feels easier to just keep doing it the way I already have it and to just Venmo. But I feel like if I trusted someone like a lot and like they wanted to do that, like I wouldn't mind doing it.
Yeah.
I just like never took the steps to like initiate it. And neither did my partners, but
yeah, I don't feel nearly as strongly as I do about people sharing Facebooks.
Which is fair. Now, it's so accurate, though. Like, a shared Facebook that's too personal.
Yeah.
And, like, my problem with it is I don't know who I'm talking to.
Right.
Like, I don't know who I'm commenting for.
Yeah, it's like both or one.
Who's receiving this? Because I might be friends with the girl and not that close with the guy. And then I'm trying to talk to her and then he responds?
Yeah.
And I'm offended.
Yeah. It's so, I don't know. It's so funny that that's way more offensive to me.
Way more. I mean, there's nothing wrong with sharing a bank account.
There's not. And there's not anything, I guess, that wrong with sharing a Facebook. It's just like, it's like, why? There's not
It's
like limited
strange.
spots available for Facebooks or something, you know? Like, when was the
Right.
last time a new Facebook was actually even created? Like, people aren't still creating new ones. Like, they're just out there, you
Right.
know? Right? Like, unless it's a
No one makes a
business,
Facebook. Right.
like, that's the only use of it at this point in my eyes.
Right. Because,
It's
like,
for business.
Gen Z isn't using Facebook.
No.
Yeah.
No. And the people who are using Facebook, I don't want to talk to them. Except for you. I know you love I was thinking like
No, I'm
you know,
kidding.
like kooky aunts and uncles and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah.
I don't use Facebook very much either.
No, just the like you just like the messenger. Like, and isn't that like a separate app at this point, technically?
It's a totally separate app. Yeah. Like, I don't even think of them as the same thing.
Right. It's more messenger for you than anything else. Yeah.
So this really became back to how do we feel about shared Facebook,
which we already covered.
Right. But it's important. It's important to talk about, I think, and to kind of get that out there.
Well, it's also just curiosity. Like, I'm curious what other people and like what our listeners would think too. Like, I'm definitely down to hear a different opinion than my own. You know,
about the bank accounts or about the Facebook.
No, everybody has the same opinion about the Facebooks. Like, that's a shared experience.
I can see how a shared bank account could be a bad thing. Like, I do think that you have to be in a good place.
Yeah, that's true. If you're married to like the Zach guy from
right, if it's someone who's controlling or like, then that could be really scary because it's harder to get away.
Yeah.
Or that person could just like gamble all your money, for instance.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if I did ever have a shared account, I would also still have my own.
Oh yeah. Totally. That's a really good point. Yeah.
The word of the week this week is, I'm going to let Amber introduce this one.
So it's really more of a phrase this week, and it's country goodbye. And I can't seem to ever like not country goodbye. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to. It's always a country goodbye. You know, like, first we're in the kitchen. It's like, okay, I got to get out of here. And then we have a 10-minute conversation at the door. And then we have a 10-minute conversation in the driveway.
Yeah.
And then I pull out of the driveway, but then I call you. Yeah.
Yes. Let me show you this thing in my car real quick. Like, yeah.
Yep. And we also do this, you know, over the phone and on FaceTime. And it's like established that we're going to get off the phone, but then we have like 6 other things suddenly that need to be discussed.
Right. Like, we were actually running out of talking points usually is why we get off the phone. We're both like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to, all right, well, I'm going to go do that. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Now I have 17 things to talk about real quick.
It's like, if I ever feel like I have nothing to talk about, I'm just going to be like, I'm all right, well, I'm going to head out. Like, because then I'll think of something.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. And I love an Irish goodbye as well.
Love that. I'm real good at those.
Yeah, I feel like that's got to be like a pretty, like a larger social gathering.
Always, yeah. You know, the country goodbye is a one-on-one type thing.
Yeah,
maybe
although we do
3
Irish
people.
goodbye on FaceTime sometimes. It's just not our fault. It's just like technical difficulties.
Queen.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every single time.
Yeah. Why didn't she charge my phone?
That's what I was wondering while my power was out. Like, I thought she was going to come in here like a sweet little baby angel and charge my phone up for me.
Charge the house up. Yep.
Please. Give me some power. Oh, and I feel like I need to mention this and should have mentioned this at the beginning when we went on our rant about the hurricanes. My power came back on for a whole hour. Everybody got cozy. I turned on Tell Me Lies. I was like under my blanket. I was like ready to rot in front of my computer and just watch Netflix all day. And then it went off for a couple more hours before finally turning back on for good.
And Amber at this point she was like, if the power doesn't come back on today, I am packing up my whole family and going over to Tori's house.
Yep.
And it just kind of teased you a bit.
Yep. It really did.
Like, here I am. No, I'm not here I am. No, I'm not.
I know. I'm like, okay, I gotta call Tori and tell her we're coming over, and then the power comes back on. I'm like, okay, never mind. And then it goes back off again. I'm like, okay, I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm done.
I don't want to pass go. So
No,
you
I
know
don't.
what though? It could have been worse. My coworker actually just got power back today and then didn't. And I think they're still out of power now.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah, they
That's
got
so
it for
sad.
a little bit. And then they didn't. Yeah. It was
Oh
like
my God.
a couple hours that it was on. Okay, Tinder adventures. It's been a minute since we've checked in. First of all, I've got some screenshots. Let's see. Let's go over.
Okay, so these.
Shared notes.
So you're gonna read me screenshots of men's dating profiles that you have seen while scrolling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here's some fun screenshots. Usually I don't share the names, but I don't think this is the real guy's name.
Okay.
The name is EEE or E or E
or
eh. His bio is, honestly, my life is kind of a mess currently. No drama, but just not in the best position to date. But I'm not opposed to making friends or getting my face snail trailed disrespectfully. Yes, I said what I said. Now, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't read this whole thing before reading it just now.
Oh, wow.
And it's been a long time since I've added this.
You did seem surprised.
I was, part. As I said that. Yeah. Getting my face snail trailed disrespectfully.
I don't know that I love that terminology. And just like the mental picture that it's painting is not my favorite either. Now, I will say bonus points for creativity.
And honesty.
Mm-hmm.
E.
Mm-hmm. E. Little weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This next one, the bio is, we swipe right on the beautiful and left on the ugly, and we call this love. We unmatch those who say what we don't want to hear, and we call it getting to know each other in quotations. Is this love you have for me? Spare me the misery. My kingdom is not of this world. My true bride awaits me in death. Now the sirens in the background.
I was just going to say the sirens are a paid actor.
Amber has her window open.
I'm not going to close it.
No.
There is fall outside, and the universe hath given us that after this awful hurricane.
Mm-hmm. And it's participating in the podcast.
Yeah, that was epic. Like, we would have had to pay for that audio elsewhere, to like, I'm just kidding.
I feel like people are going to think we've added that in.
Yeah.
Like on the back end. And let me be the first to tell you, we don't know how to do that.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I know how to insert like a clip in between something, not in the background.
When we had to beep something one time, I told Amber that she should just record her pushing the button on the phone so that it beeps. And I think she came up with something better. Didn't you?
So I recorded, I brought up YouTube and I just found like a clip of a beep, and it plays the beep like over and over with like a pause in between. Mm-hmm. So I just like did that for like 10 seconds and then chopped up what I needed, and it worked really well. But no, I was just going to get on there and just be like, beep, like with my mic.
So loud. Yeah.
I was like right up on that thing.
So what is up with this guy? I Googled this because like this part at the end it sounded like maybe it was some kind of weird fucking poem or something. So I Googled it and I couldn't find anything. Nothing came up.
Bride? I don't know.
My kingdom is not of this world. My true bride awaits me in death.
Death is his true bride.
Is he looking for death on Bumble?
Maybe.
I don't like it. I don't like
think
it.
I think we need to get rid of that. And send that man some sage.
He had me too at the beginning because he's like, you know, kind of being introspective, not introspective, but like deep. And he's
Yeah.
like, you know, we swipe right on the beautiful and, you know, like saying that this is all
Right.
superficial and stuff. And that's cute. And then I think he wants to kill me all of a sudden.
Right. Yeah.
And
Then I'm pretty sure that you have a body buried in your backyard, or there's
the last
maybe a fresh
match.
one in your trunk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like that one. Let's see, here we go. There is a tender longing to have a companion with whom to share these moments with, seeking a kindred soul who craves not only the thrill of the chase, but also the warmth of an intimate connection. With every touch ignites spark, and every sunset whispers promises of endless enchantment.
Was
Now, I
that a
had to share
Nicholas
this one.
Sparks novel?
I had to share it because it reminded me of all the misconnections.
Yes. Yes, it does
Like the
sound
way
like a
it's written.
misconnection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like professing their deep love. And you're like, my brother in Christ, you're on Craigslist. Like, we're on Tinder. What are you doing?
Who is
Uh,
swiping on that? Like,
See, this again, I would love to see statistics, but like
mhm.
other people's statistics would be interesting to show and also could be helpful to someone looking at someone else's profile. Like if it was
True.
publicly accessible to see, like, and also
Right.
just
Like,
like a good feedback loop for the person.
mhm.
Like,
It's a win-win-win-win,
yeah,
really.
constructive criticism.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
this one. I have two of the same guy, right? Because he came across, I left swiped him, and then I saw him come up a couple hours later, and the bio had changed ever so slightly. The first one says, I eats it, and it's the peach emoji. And then it says, I breeds it, and it's the wet emoji with the kitty with the hard eyes. And I left swiped as one would on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came up again an hour or two later. And this time he added on to the bio. He perfected it a bit. He thought
Oh,
about it. He went back
the
in. He
trifecta.
edited.
Mm.
Yes, he edited.
Mm-hmm.
He did keep what was already there. That didn't need to be
Okay.
fixed. It was fine as is. But before all of that, he added, I don't message first with the little cancel emoji. And then after that, he says, I do enjoy blocking girls that are non consistent.
Oh,
So this time I said right swipe, which is
I
it like
forget.
I like you. Right swipe
Thank
means I
you.
like yeah.
Thank you. My God, they could have made it more simple.
It's just
It's like as simple as it could possibly fucking
it
be.
really is. Yeah.
So you did you match?
No, I was just kidding. I would never right swipe that. Like, what do
Oh,
you
okay.
mean?
No, I thought
Yeah.
you right swipe just so you could like troll him. Like we were gonna do a new experiment, but this
Oh,
time it was instead of like success rate, just like
I should have swiped him and then like been super like lovey at first and telling him
mm-hmm.
I want him to breed it. And and then just like and then maybe checked in once a day after that to
I gotta
really
go
like hold up
vomit.
the consistency for
Ugh.
him and kind of just see how he reacts to that
Yeah.
is what
Mm.
I should have done. Missed
Wow.
opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, you can't win them all, Tori.
So as far as people I've actually matched with this weekend that happened, this past weekend,
Supposedly it happened. I mean, I don't know. I'm not
I was
sure.
supposed to go to Universal Studios with Jason on Saturday and then Halloween Horror Nights with him after. We've had this date
Mm-hmm.
planned for like a month. And then the
Yeah.
next night, I was supposed to go to Halloween Horror Nights with Freddie as friends on Sunday. We
Yeah.
had the hurricane Thursday, uh, Wednesday night. Wednesday night, we had the hurricane.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Gas was not readily available until Saturday ish. I mean, I went to a gas
Yeah.
station today that didn't have gas still. But you can actually get it. It's pretty easy to get now. But yeah, I ended up getting it Friday night and I got yelled at. Amber was on the phone with me, thank God.
Yeah.
And I get in line It was actually a pretty short line considering like a lot of the people I had talked to had been waiting in line for like an hour to 4 hours for gas. So I saw this kind of short little line. The tanker was just filling up the station. Hop in, there's maybe 10 to 15 cars in front of me. They all, this whole time that all these cars are going through the line ahead of me, they all stop at this one point as you're pulling in the gas station so that they can see all of the pumps. And as one
Right.
person leaves a pump, they would pull up to that pump that that person just left,
Right.
which makes sense because you have waited in this line. You should be the next one to go at that point.
Right.
So
And you
I
don't know
don't,
which one's going to finish.
and quite honestly, I don't give a shit what the system is. I felt like we had all agreed on this. I felt like as being in this line, we have all had this unspoken
Yeah.
agreement that this
Yeah.
is the process and we are going by this. So I get to the front of the line and someone is just laying on their horn behind me. And Amber keeps hearing me go, "Who the fuck is honking?" And I see this guy throwing his hands up behind me. He's in a convertible, so I can kind of hear him yelling because the top is down. And he's like throwing his hands up. And I realize he's looking at me in my side view mirror. I'm like, what is he trying to say to me? And I'm like, feeling spicy this day. It has not been an easy couple days.
Yeah. She
So
was
I
like,
roll my window
what?
down.
It's so funny.
Yes, I was.
Like,
And he's
shut
telling
up.
me right. And he's telling me to pull up to a pump. And I'm like, why? No one else has done that. Why would I pull up to a pump? Like, how come when I'm the
Why are
one
you
at the
singling
front?
me out?
Right. Is it because I'm this little girl you think you can boss around? Because he can see me in my mirror, you know?
Yes.
He's making eye contact through the mirror at me, through the side mirror. And I'm like, why? Why would I do that? No one else has done that. And then this woman who's parked, not even in line for gas, is next to her car. She's like, why won't everyone get in line? She starts yelling at me from over there across the parking lot. And I'm like, what is going on? Why is everyone yelling at me when I'm doing what everyone was doing? And then this dude starts approaching my car, and I have my window down at this point because I'm yelling at the guy behind me who's at a safe distance in his
Yeah.
car. Now this
He's
dude is
staying
walking
put.
towards my car from the pump, so I roll my window up, and he's getting closer, and he's like doing like hand motions for me to roll my window down, and I'm shaking my head no. I'm like, I'm not rolling my window down. Hell no.
Mm-mm.
And then I think he could tell that I was kind of freaked out by this dude approaching my car telling me to roll my window down, and he
Yeah.
walked away. So the guy behind me, who was being a douche, ends up driving around me and just like getting behind a random car at a gas pump. He has no idea how long that person's been there. You know, he probably would have gotten gas quicker if he just stayed behind me. But then the
Yeah.
2 or 3 other people behind him in line went around me too to just like go stand behind a pump. And then the guy who was like coming up to my car, I realized he was trying to wave me over that he was almost done pumping. So he
Oh,
was telling me to get behind him because he's almost
dang. He's
done.
like, I'm trying to help you out.
And he still did because he went back, finished up, and then waved me over.
Yeah. You're like,
And he
stay
would
the
just
fuck over there, though.
right, because people
Yeah.
were pulling guns on each other, and there were cops at almost all the
Yeah.
gas stations.
Yeah, there's
because people were being
no way
crazy.
you're gonna approach my car as a large man and think I'm gonna be like, "Hey, how are you? What do you need?"
Oh,
No.
you want me to roll the window down? Yeah, sure.
No, absolutely not.
Anyway, so gas is a stressful situation, right? I did get gas and I got out of there, and I got gas before those assholes behind me got any gas. I just want that to be known. And so the next day, I'm supposed to drive an hour and a half away to go to these theme parks with these people. And first of all, theme park's not a necessity. I have to
Right.
take like some back roads to get there, which like I didn't know if they're going to be flooded or not. And I didn't know if I could get gas when I get over there, and
Yeah.
it's a kind of far drive, you know? So I was also just wiped from the weekend stuff. So I wasn't sure about going with Jason on Saturday, and I went to my house too that had the tree fall on it on Friday. And I was like chatting with him, and he's like, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm a little upset about it. And he's like, well, do you want to just cancel tomorrow with everything that you have going on? And I was like, in my head, like part of me kind of did want to cancel because I was just so wiped. But the other part
Yeah.
of me was like, well, I have nothing else going on tomorrow. I'm just going to be like sitting at home. And like he and I have had this planned for like a month. That would be kind of like messed up to cancel it. Like I should probably just go and have fun, even though like there's some things about it that I'm stressed out about. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like I don't need to cancel. And then he pushed it again, like saying, oh, are you sure you don't? You've got a lot going on or something. And I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it. At this point, I feel like he's kind of wanting to cancel, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was trying to give him like an out. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of like on the fence about it. Like, um, I want to go, but like I am kind of wiped too. And he's like, yeah, you just stay home and rest. And like, just like that, our date that we had planned for like a month canceled.
I
And we
know.
also
That's
hadn't
the part
been,
that bothered me is like it was like well established.
yeah, we also hadn't been
Oh.
talking as much for those like 2 days before, but we were still like I mean, we were talking, I don't know, at least 5 to 10 times a day. I don't,
Yeah.
texting, like it wasn't as much as we had been, but it was still like a fair amount. But yeah, so I don't know, maybe he just like was like talking with someone else at this point and like things had faded, which is totally fine.
Yeah. But
So I
he's
was like,
just
okay,
like pushing you to cancel instead of just saying whatever he needs to say or what
right. And
actually
I've,
is going on.
yes. And I've noticed in the past he would do stuff like that too. Like he'd be like, well, I know you need to get to bed, so I'll say goodnight and let you go. And I was like, I didn't say I needed to get to, like, do you need to go to bed? Because if you need to go to bed,
Yeah.
just say you need to go to bed. Why are you saying, what do you
Why are
mean
you
I
putting
need to
it
go to
on
bed,
me?
daddy? Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? It was strange. So then Sunday came along and he asked me if I had canceled going to Halloween Horror Nights that night. And I did. I canceled going with Freddie because Freddie was being kind of weird about it. And I actually canceled with Freddie on Saturday because it still was hard to get gas in Tampa on Saturday. And I was like, I
Right.
don't know if I want to go out there. But also, Freddie had been kind of weird about it beforehand. He told me that we had like established that we're just friends moving forward. And he told me that I can like drive with him I can drive to his house to drive with him to Halloween Horror Nights so that I don't have to pay the parking fee, which is like a nice thing to offer.
Right. I
And
mean, the parking is kind of pricey at those
it's like
places, but it's
almost
like,
$40. So it's a
yeah.
nice thing to
Yeah.
offer. And then he adds on, and I don't know if you want to drive home that late. It ends at 2 a.m., but you're welcome to stay at my place if you want. And by the way, let me just mention that I know that he does not have a spare bedroom there.
Yeah.
So
No.
if I'm staying at his
He's,
house, it's in his bed with him,
yeah.
And so I'm like, no, none of that. I don't want any of that. I don't want to even be at his house afterward. I don't want to be driven
No.
to his house afterwards in his car.
Mm-mm.
Also, he drives like a freaking maniac. And I didn't like being in his car the 2 times that I was in his car anyways. And he did the second time, like I told him, you can't be driving like that with me. And he did do like a little bit better. But anyways, I didn't like being in his car a lot. So I told him no. And he's like, I don't know. He just like seemed like he was trying to push. He's like, why? You don't trust me? And I was like, honestly, no, you're a terrible driver. And then he was like, oh, okay, that's fair. So he was being pushy about it. So I decided not that I didn't want to go because the gas, but also the whole thing just like felt kind of weird to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
understandable.
Jason, yeah. So Jason Sunday asked me, like, are you still going to Halloween Horror Nights tonight? And I said, no, I ended up canceling. And, he already knew some of the backstory of, like, all of that stuff. And I told him that's why I ended up canceling. And, like, I just wasn't sure about gas. And he was like, okay. And he's like, so I've really been thinking about some stuff and I want to talk with you about it. And I was like, okay, I'm all ears because I had already been thinking about for the last couple of days, like, should I touch base with him and, like, see where his head's at? Because I wasn't really sure if he was like thinking we're on this path of like being in a relationship because he had always made it clear that he was looking more of a friends with benefits thing. And
Yeah.
I had made it clear that I didn't want that. So he also said that he was also looking for friends with benefits, and like potentially a relationship. And I said, well, the only thing I really want is friends or a relationship. Friends with benefit isn't going to work for me. And when I said that, he was like trying to convince me. He's like, oh, friends with benefits is nice
Mm-hmm.
because, for this and that reason. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's fine. I get that for you. doesn't work for me. So it seemed like he wanted a friends with benefits thing. So I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if we're going down this friends path or this like relationship path. And that's kind of like what I was thinking, like, should I check in with him and see like what he's thinking, where his head's at, like what his expectations are of like all this talking that we've been doing for like a month and a half, you know? But
Yeah.
I also was like, we're not really at a place like for me to have such a serious conversation with him about that anyways, you know? So I didn't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
So he approached me and said, I've been thinking and I'd like to talk to you. And I said, oh, I'm all ears. And I was kind of excited that he wanted to talk because I had some things I wanted to talk about as well. And the way he prefaced it made it seem like it was going to be, you know, something along those lines.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he just goes into like kind of, he said this in like 4 paragraphs, so it was long, but the overall gist of it was that he didn't feel like we had enough time to see each other, which is fair. Like because it took us a month to even have that date that got canceled, and then he was like, and I think you said like your next, day off was still like 2 weeks away, and like I just feel like it's not going to work out, unfortunately. And I was like, okay, like I get that. That's all totally valid and fair. And I was like, I also
Yeah.
like have had some things I wanted to talk to you about too. Like I'm just not like what happened that time when you wanted to cancel the date. Like did you actually want to cancel it, or were you trying to cancel it for me? Cuz like I've just been so curious about that. And then I
Right.
also, because that I was just still like kind of like what was happening there. It just felt weird.
Right.
I felt like I was being
Yeah.
gaslit.
Well, it sounds like
And
that's just his MO though. Like he just blames everything on everybody else, or like puts, not necessarily blames, but like
yeah,
puts everything on everybody else so that he doesn't have to be responsible for anything. And
right.
like just tries to push what he wants,
Yes.
which is just
Yeah.
friends with benefits. And it's like, no. And it's like, well, it's good for this reason. It's like, I don't need you to mansplain me after I just
Yeah,
said
been there.
no.
Yeah, been there, done that.
I'm good.
I
Like
understand the
everybody's done
benefits.
that. I
Mm-hmm.
get how it works. Like I'm not
Right.
incapable of understanding that. Yeah.
Right. So I asked
I
him
hate
like
him.
what was happening that night
Like,
in his head, you
yeah.
know? And then I also said, but either way, whatever your answer is to that, like it doesn't change what you just said. And like it's really been a pleasure getting to know you. And like I wish you the best moving forward. And then he answered with, I would have come to see you and played disc golf out where you live. Because we were like an hour away from each other sometimes, depending on which house I was at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is he talking about? And he's like, if we were going to be in a relationship, we'd have to see each other more. My ex had 2 kids and I only got to see her 2 or 3 times a month. And that didn't work for me. And then I was like, where was your head at? Because when we talked, like I thought you were on a friends with benefits type thing. So, and I didn't want that. So
Yeah.
I thought we were just like friends. I didn't think like a relationship was even what you wanted. And then I was like, I play disc golf all the time. Like you had plenty of time. Like you could have come out at any point if you were
Right.
going to drive to me to play disc golf. At this point, I'm just like
Yeah.
confused by what he's saying. Like I'm not trying to like convince him to stay
I
with me.
think
I'm just
he's
like, what?
confused
I'm just so
by what he's
confused.
saying.
So I asked him like, and I told him too, I'm like, what are you talking about 2 or 3 times I've never had a boyfriend. I only see 2 or 3 times a month. So I'm like, where are you getting
Yeah.
this assumption? It was just so strange.
Yeah. Like we haven't even
So
seen each other
strange.
yet.
Yes, not even met. Yeah. And then to those questions, he just said, thank you for this. It's been a pleasure, with like the heart hands. And
Yeah.
I
So he
was
like didn't even answer.
I'm speaking to a wall, and I just, left that one unresponded.
No,
It
it's
wasn't
like
going
one of
anywhere,
those situations where you're like, exactly, like it wasn't going to happen anyway, but
yeah, I just wanted
the
some
least he could have
answers.
done was answer the damn question. Yeah.
After us
Take
talking for
accountability.
almost 2 months, like every day, like a lot. Yeah, it would have been, and yeah, it was just so strange. The whole thing.
That is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still just like
I don't like it.
just like confused by the whole thing. Like what
Yeah,
happened?
I think that's totally valid. It's And the fact that like you won't get any answers now, like it's
Yeah. Which is fine. Like, I
yeah,
feel like I let it go like 30 seconds later.
sure.
I was just like, that was just so strange. It just like has this feeling of like strangeness still, is all that I haven't
No,
let
for
go.
sure.
Yeah.
It's just like I, how many times can you shove something onto somebody else
Yeah.
to
I feel like I
avoid it
just got
being
off the
on you?
Gravitron.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
that's what it feels like.
friends with benefits. Like shut up, brother.
But in happier news, we have another contender. Actually, there's a couple like good contenders right now. We have St. Paul. He and I went on a date recently. We've been talking for like 2.5 weeks on text, and then we went on a date over the weekend. He's cute. He's very nice. He seems like he has like good morals. Um,
Yeah.
we are calling him Saint Paul because he's very involved in the church, which
Mm-hmm.
is interesting for me because
Yeah.
I'm not religious. So like I feel like I don't know, 5 years ago I would have been like, I can't be with someone in the church, and not because there's anything wrong with that, just because it's so different than my lifestyle that like it would have been hard for me to see it, I think. So that's the only thing that's like kind of strange for me, but like it hasn't been an issue or anything yet. So yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
promising.
We like
Mm-hmm.
him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he seems very sweet. And then let's see, there is the wizard. Trying to think of a
Oh,
code name for it.
okay. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, also a very nice guy. He's got a couple kids. He's very involved with his kids' lives, and he's a gamer, so we have that in common. It's been nice. Yeah, we've been talking. He just seems very like he always knows like the right thing to say, even if I just like I'm not gonna like give him all my woes or anything, but like I'll like put a little snippet as like how something was frustrating, and he always seems to know like the right thing
Yeah.
to say to like support me. So that's nice.
I love that. That's a good sign.
Yeah, yeah. So we got the Wizard in St. Paul.
Nice. Those are good
Mm-hmm.
contenders.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to the updates.
Mm-hmm.